Welcome to this episode. My name is Scott Blaze, and today we are going to talk about a topic that quietly drains peace of mind and keeps countless people trapped in financial stress. Living beyond your means. It's a phrase we've all heard, but few of us stop to truly understand what it looks like in daily life and why it happens. Living beyond your means isn't just overspending. It's creating a gap between income and choices that eventually demands a price. This episode will not shame you. Instead, it will give you a step-by-step path to regain control and align your lifestyle with your actual financial reality. First, we need to understand why so many people live beyond their means. Part of it comes from cultural pressure. We live in a world of comparison, where social media highlights curated moments of luxury and success. It's easy to believe that happiness is tied to having more, buying more, and showing more. This constant exposure creates an invisible push to match what we see, even if our bank accounts are silently screaming otherwise. Living beyond your means often starts with emotional spending, using money as a way to feel validated, secure, or in control. Another root cause is lack of awareness. Many people don't actually know where their money is going. It's not intentional overspending. It's death by 1,000 small, untracked cuts. The subscription here, the dinner there, the impulse purchase you convince yourself is just this once. Before you know it, you've outpaced your income, not from one big mistake, but from quiet, daily choices. The first step to stopping this cycle is brutal honesty. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Track everything for 30 days. Write down every expense, no matter how small. Awareness is the beginning of change. Once you have the truth in front of you, the next step is facing your numbers without fear. Many people avoid looking at their bank accounts because it triggers anxiety, but avoidance only deepens the problem. When you open the door and see the reality, you take the first step toward power. Your numbers don't reflect your worth. They are simply information. When you approach them as data instead of judgment, you can begin to make decisions based on clarity instead of emotion. Now comes the part many people struggle with: cutting back. Living within your means doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice, and it often requires sacrifices. This is where you must decide what truly matters to you. Create a list of your non-negotiables, the things that bring you the most value and joy. Then, look for areas where you can cut without losing quality of life. You may be surprised to discover that a large portion of your spending doesn't actually make you happier. It just fills space. Align your spending with your values, not with external expectations. Before we go deeper into practical strategies, take a moment right now to support this message. If this episode is helping you see money in a new way, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's a small action that helps us reach more people who need these conversations, and it lets me know that this content is making a difference in your journey. With that pause, let's talk about the power of creating a buffer between income and expenses. One of the most effective ways to stop living beyond your means is to build margin. Margin is the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and it becomes the breathing room that protects you from financial stress. Even a small margin changes everything because it creates space for savings, emergencies, and future goals. Start with the goal of living on 90% of your income and saving or investing the remaining 10%. If that feels impossible right now, start with 2% or 5%. The key is creating the habit of margin. Another critical strategy is redefining what success looks like for you. As long as you measure your life against someone else's highlight reel, you will always feel the need to spend more than you can afford. True success isn't appearances, it's stability, freedom, and the ability to choose without financial fear. When you internalize that, you begin to shift from spending to impress others to spending to build the life you truly want. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools you can use is a written spending plan. Notice I didn't say budget to make it sound restrictive. A spending plan is proactive. It tells every dollar where to go before the month begins, ensuring you are living intentionally instead of reactively. Even if your income is modest, a clear plan brings peace of mind because you know exactly what your limits are and how to work within them. A key part of stopping the cycle of living beyond your means is tackling debt. Debt often fuels the illusion that you can afford more than you actually can. Credit allows you to live today on money you haven't earned yet, but the bill always comes due with interest. If you are carrying debt, prioritize paying it down systematically. Each payment isn't just reducing numbers. It's reclaiming your future income and breaking the cycle of overspending. It's also important to address the emotional side of overspending. Many people use money as a coping mechanism for stress, boredom, or insecurity. If you find yourself spending to soothe emotions, pause and ask, what am I really trying to fix with this purchase? Often, it's not about the item at all, but about filling a deeper need. Learning to sit with those feelings instead of swiping a card builds both emotional and financial resilience. For long-term change, build systems that make living within your means automatic. Automate bills, automate savings, and create barriers for impulsive spending. For example, remove saved cards from online shopping sites so every purchase requires an extra step. That pause is often enough to shift you from emotional to rational thinking. Systems reduce reliance on willpower and create habits that support your goals effortlessly. Let's also talk about increasing income. Cutting expenses is one side of the equation, but sometimes the real solution is growing the top line. Explore side hustles, negotiate raises, or develop skills that open higher-paying opportunities. Living within your means becomes easier when you expand what your means actually are. However, remember, if you don't change your habits, more income will not solve the problem. Lifestyle creep, the tendency to increase spending as income rises, can keep you stuck in the same cycle unless you anchor your values first. Another practical step is to delay gratification. In a world of instant everything, the ability to wait is a superpower. When you want to make a purchase, give yourself 24 to 48 hours before deciding. This simple practice cuts down on impulse buys and gives you time to evaluate whether the item truly aligns with your priorities. Building an emergency fund is also non-negotiable. Without a safety net, every unexpected expense pushes you toward credit cards or loans, pulling you right back into living beyond your means. Start small if you need to. Even $500 can make a difference. Over time, aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. This fund becomes your buffer between stability and financial chaos. Finally, remember that living within your means is not about deprivation. It's about freedom. It's about creating a life where money serves you instead of controlling you. When you take control of your spending, you gain more than financial stability. You gain peace of mind, security, and the ability to plan for a future that excites you. The journey starts with awareness, grows with discipline, and blossoms into freedom. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. If this episode resonated with you, take the principles and put them into action. Your financial story is not set in stone. You have the power to rewrite it, one intentional choice at a time. Living beyond your means doesn't have to be your reality. Living in alignment with your means can be the foundation for a life of purpose and peace. To make this actionable, let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine you earn $3,500 a month after taxes, but your expenses total $3,800. That $300 gap may not seem huge, but over a year it becomes $3,600 lost. The first step is identifying where the $300 is going. Track every expense for 30 days. When you see the numbers, you may realize $150 is going to dining out, $100 to subscriptions you rarely use, and $50 to impulse purchases. Armed with this awareness, you can redirect that $300 and bring your spending under your income without dramatic lifestyle changes. Another example is creating a priority list. Write down your top 5 financial goals: paying off debt, saving for emergencies, building retirement, funding education, or traveling. Now compare your current spending to that list. If most of your money is flowing to areas that aren't on your priority list, you have a clear map of where to adjust. Aligning spending with goals quickly stops living beyond your means by shifting your mindset from random spending to purposeful planning. For couples, this conversation is even more important. When two people have different spending habits and no shared plan, it's easy to drift into living beyond combined means without realizing it. Schedule money meetings. Review income, expenses, and goals together. When both partners are aligned, the plan becomes stronger and easier to maintain. Shared vision turns budgeting from tension into a tool for teamwork and stability. Lastly, celebrate progress. When you cut overspending in half, acknowledge it. When you save your first $500 buffer, celebrate it. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds lasting change. Living within your means isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each step proves you can create a life where money supports your values instead of dictating them.